Okay, so I think I'm gonna try something different moving forward with the vlogs. I mean, I'm gonna have to see for how long it'll last. But I think I kind of struggled to actually to get started and figure out a theme for what to talk about, because I mean, talking about what happened during an entire week. I mean, I can talk about a lot of different things of the actual specifics that I did, but I also like to like dive a little deeper into the things that I learned. But I don't necessarily want to like make an entire overview and this list thing that I've referred to a couple times now, and then analyze what I want to talk about and not want to talk about. I basically don't want to script these vlogs. So I think that's why I tend to get overwhelmed when I sit in front of the camera and just expect myself to talk out of nowhere. So something I want to try moving forward is maybe just start off and actually have this question: what was this week about? What was this week like in the mind? And then basically envision, like, for example, my girlfriend would ask me that question, and then just start talking about whatever the week was about, and just see whatever comes up. And yeah, so I think maybe that's something that's gonna help me moving forward and just getting started. Again, I'm trying not to have the bar too high for these kinds of videos. I just wanna get more comfortable talking. So let's see how it goes. Um, if anything, I would say this week I did a bunch of pretty random things, really. Um, and I noticed how I still it's still a practice to not like constantly want to like justify why I do all these things, and like want to like even when I write a blog post or talk to someone, yeah, on social media. I always have this tendency when they ask, hey, what are you doing, and I talk about this one random thing I've been doing. uh, I feel very uncomfortable not really being able to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's been one of the main themes for the past couple of weeks, just becoming much more unapologetic about what I'm doing. Because one of the main things that I've noticed is that somehow, because I'm not making a lot of money from what I'm doing right now, I it feels like it doesn't like it, as long as I don't make a certain amount of money, and that certain amount of money seems to be the amount that I used to earn, it's like I don't allow myself to talk about the things that I have learned so far, and like, who am I to talk about the specific lifestyle as long as I don't make it work practically. But honestly, all that tells me is that it just tells me how much or how big of a deal I'm still making of money. And yeah, I think it's really interesting to pay attention to those kinds of things, because I'm just projecting that expectation onto other people, and then I tell myself, well, people are not going to want to listen to me if I don't make X amount of money. And yeah, I think that's complete BS. And I just don't see why I can't share about the things that I've started enjoying much more about life, and the things that I've learned about it. So um, yeah, that's one of the, I would say, if there was a theme to last week, it's just becoming much more unapologetic about what I'm doing. And one of the things that I really struggle to express or to be open about is actually that currently I'm not even actively pursuing things that I know that I'm gonna make money of. Um, in the sense that, for example, I'm not going really hard after people to work with in terms of like runners for coaching runners. I'm not really going after like, I'm not pitching constantly for freelance writing projects. Yeah, there's well, and then there's obviously other things that I could be doing. I mean, my point being, I can definitely earn more if I'd want to at this point. But somehow it's not what I feel enticed to do. I don't feel enticed um, to to really go and earn more. And I'm just really curious to see how that's gonna evolve. I mean, maybe at some point I'm gonna say, well, now my bank account hit this all-time low, and I really wanna do something about that. But that's not how I feel at this point. So I just want to stop apologizing and apologizing for the fact that I'm not making X amount of money actually at this point, and just instead just enjoy what I'm doing, because the thing is that at this point, our lifestyle is so simple, and we've just gotten to the point where we just really feel good, and we don't really seem to need a whole lot. Um, I no longer, I'm not like thinking about, well, we really need to move into a bigger house, we definitely need a car really soon. All those kinds of things just no longer actually a thing. That I think somehow subconsciously maybe that's impacting me, and I just don't see the need, or don't feel the need to really pursue money that much. But it's still, I mean, it's still some kind of part of, there's still some pattern and some insecurity around not making a certain amount of money each month. So there's definitely there's definitely that. I know where I was trying to go with that tangent. um, yeah, just so our life's pretty simple now, and I just refuse to believe that I'm not capable of making enough money to make those ends meet, so to speak, for the limited amount of money that we actually need. So um, to kind of nuance what I was saying before about not really actively chasing a lot of projects and a lot of people to work with, is that I'm totally open to work with new runners, but I just prefer to work with people that seem like, how should I put it, that seem like a good match, that it seems fun to work with. And so, similar to freelance projects, there's been opportunities here and there, but I noticed that if it's not like 100% yes at this point, I default to saying no. And I don't know, I can't say for sure if that's a good idea right now, but it definitely feels best to say no to those kinds of things. So I think I can basically wrap that up as so not actively pursuing, not doing everything that I can that's within my means to make more money, but I'm really open to go into projects and work with people that just seem like a lot of fun to me. And it's funny that I actually look forward to several to things how should I put it? Yeah, like for example, okay, there's not a lot of stuff we can do within the sphere of events, like sports events at this point, but it's something that I actually would really enjoy, and that I would also happen to make money from. So those kinds of examples really make me believe that there's more things that I'm gonna figure out that I can do that also are gonna happen to make me money. And so that's why I'm like, well, in the meantime, why not just be more unapologetic about just things that I enjoy doing? And so this week, for example, I spent basically, I think it must have been at least an entire day. I spent an entire day, and I'm unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to plug it this time, but maybe I'm gonna be able to plug it next week. But I spent an entire day working on like I call it Breakfast the Movie basically, and it's like a movie that I make, and it's not really a movie. It's like 1 minute long, but still, it's something that I filmed, edited, like put some music on top and all that, where I actually show how I make my breakfast, and it's just something that I had a lot of fun with doing in the moment. But it's just, if you ask me, Kobe, why are you spending time doing that? I have no clue. It's just, yeah, it's those kinds of things. I mean, and then there's other things that I've done this week. This week as well. For example, I bought two books about core strengthening not too long ago, and yeah, I'm just reading those books, and I'm just spending time doing those exercises and doing those stretches, and like experimenting on how I can correct tightnesses that I have and weaknesses that I have, and see how it can like impact my running form and all that. I'm just having a lot of fun with that. But I mean, to me, that one's easier for my brain to get along or to get on board with, because I can just tell my brain, well, I'm having fun, which is a really good short-term thing to do, and then in the long term, it's gonna make me a better runner, and I have all these things to tell my the people I work with. So to tell the runners about how they can work with their core and like strengthen their core in a better and more sustainable way. And so that one makes sense, but in the end I'm still doing it because it's just a lot of fun. So um, yeah, similarly, I'm talking to people I've never talked to in the past. Like, for example, yesterday I talked to a woman, and she's doing very similar things to what I'm doing at this point. Just also experimenting, embracing the unknown, seeing wherever this is going. And we just talked for an hour and a half, and nothing really like specific came out of it, but it just was a really interesting conversation, and it's just really interesting to share that enthusiasm with someone. So it's just fun. I mean, there's not a whole lot else I can say about that. So yeah, and then yesterday, all of a sudden, that inspired me to write this article about, well, you know what? If there's one thing I'm actually doing at this point, it's basically implementing or experimenting around with different beliefs about how I believe, well, different beliefs about the nature of reality, basically. And I just basically brainstormed about what those principles would be for me at this point, and then I laid it out, found a little structure for it, and I ended up calling it how to enjoy life, how to navigate life, and how to transform life. Those three seem to work pretty well for what I'm doing right now, and it's actually me just like sharing with you, hey, if there's one thing that I'm doing, it's this. It's basically just implementing those principles, but there's nothing more specific to it. Everything else just comes from, yeah, just implementing the principles and just seeing wherever this is, basically, wherever this is going to be going. And then also, like, being open to adjust these principles and just see how I'm going to adjust them based on what I'm learning along this journey. So, yeah, there's just a lot of these things that I just can't I'm not working on any like major like big plan, uh other than I'm just really curious to learn more about how this life works, and how we're like in charge of how we experience life, and these kinds of things. And yeah, all the things I do are just little experiments, and experimenting with these principles, and then seeing how at what point these principles break down, and then seeing if there's even more fundamental principle there. And it's if anything, it's just like engaging with life and just seeing whatever it has to teach me. And it's just a lot. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I don't know. It just lights me up. It's something I'm really really passionate about. So something I really enjoy. But yeah. Anyway, I think somehow I might have been able to get across the things that I've been doing this week. I managed to get through in some specifics. But yeah. So I think that's where I'm gonna keep it at for this week. As always, I'm always really curious to see if you watch this. Is there anything that stands out? Is there anything you can relate to? Is there anything that you want to learn more about? Because yeah, I'm just sharing about this because it really works for me, but I also would like to find out if you've gone through similar things, and if there's if these things also have worked for you, or if you've tried them and you've also already experienced where they start breaking down, and you want to share about that with me. It's just something, yeah, I would love to find out about, because I'm sure there's, I mean, as I experienced yesterday, and talking to this woman, there's definitely way more people out there that are really into this kind of stuff. And yeah, this is just a way of me trying to connect to you and just find out about that. So I would love to find out. Let me know in the comments down below, or just reach out on whatever social media platform is most convenient for you. that yeah I'm on as well, obviously. So that would be like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, those types of things. But you can find that on my blog, and I'm gonna link to that in the description below as well. So um, yeah, I would say that's it. Thanks again for watching it all the way through the end, and talk to you next week.